Is Broad Arrow poised to become the next big auction house? I bet if some of you, like my friend Wesley Wormser, are watching this, you're like, we're already there, Pierre. You're not paying attention. But, you know, a lot of people still don't know that Broad Arrow exists. And I've been discussing it with some of my friends that collect classic cars as well. And we've been discussing what Broad Arrow is going to do differently and what the future holds for them. So let's go in a little bit of background here. Broad Arrow Group was the, I would say, the Palace Revolt of auction houses were a bunch of, if you don't know what the Palace Revolt was, it was a bunch of Enzo Ferrari's employees, all young guys, really hardworking, smart guys, got together and created the ATS. The ATS was a mid-engine sports car that sort of took the beauty of what eventually became the Lamborghini 350 GT, but all the engineering genius of Ferrari. And unfortunately, because they didn't have the financial backing they needed, they created a few of these beautiful cars, like the Serenissima, or the, maybe some of the other models like the ATS 1000 GT, which I know had Ferrari's blessing. But for the most part, this is like the Palace Revolt of auction houses, where you had some really great talent. I'm not going to say all the talent, but some of the great talent at RM Auctions go and start their own auction house. Now, everybody was wondering where they were getting the financial backing to do this. Turns out, same financial backer that seems to back everything these days. They recently invested or completely bought all of the shares of Broad Arrow for $100 million, which is crazy. I mean, if I had known that this was going to be a thing, I would have said, hey, here, I'd like to buy some of those. I'd love to find an investment opportunity like that. But Broad Arrow Group was originally started with 40% of the seed money provided by Hedary, and the guys worked really hard to create something out of nothing. I would say they used their connections and their hard work to basically create an auction house that within 2 years was creating problems. I don't know if there's another word, maybe creating problems or disrupting the auction house market for big players like Worldwide and RM and Barrett Jackson, because from what I understand, Broad Arrow is more customer focused instead of having this sort of pretentious, snobby kind of attitude that Gooding and, to some extent, I wouldn't say RM is as bad, but I would say that probably because Broad Arrow is staffed with guys that are more relatable and weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth and actually had to do the work and create the business. There are more reports of what I heard, they're more accessible and they're much easier to work with. So this is going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen at Amelia Island this year. And, I spent a few years doing auction reporting for Sports Car Market. It's a thankless job. I don't have a lot of fun with it. It's not something that I particularly enjoyed completing. I do all the work and the auction reports and everything, but then when you have to go home and type all that stuff up and upload photos, man, that is not easy work. It's very tedious for somebody that enjoys getting their hands dirty like me. But from what I understand, a lot of auction houses really operated the same. They took big commissions, they took big cuts. And this is always going to be a thing in the auction world, but I think that a lot of buyers don't mind paying that if they're getting the right customer service. So, my interest in Broad Arrow is seeing whether they overtake Gooding and RM in sales totals sometime in the next 5 years. And I think with the investment from Hedary, especially because now if somebody has a collector car that they're insuring with Hedary and they want to move it, you just call Hedary and they're just like, oh yeah, we'll sell it through Broad Arrow, Ferrari 246 GTS, no problem. Yeah, we could use one of those at this auction. You know, it's very interesting to see the insurance company that has a database of where all the classic cars are suddenly offering them for sale. I don't know if this is a bad thing or a good thing. What I don't like, and this is going to be in an upcoming video I have called The Problem with Online Auctions, is that some of these cars end up getting regurgitated. Like a car will go up for sale 1 year, 2 years later it'll go up again. 2 years later it'll go up again. A lot of the time these cars are being acquired by really wealthy guys that have no, I'd say they have no depth about how to own, drive, and care for a classic car. They don't want to get their hands dirty. You know, they don't want to learn. They're too busy brokering shares of this company and commercial real estate deal that company and this and that to get their hands dirty and learn how the car works. I mean, to be a functional classic car owner, you have to be willing to stick your hand under the hood and get dirty, you know? So these guys aren't exactly the best classic car owners, but they're the #1 buyers at auctions. Anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you did. And if you're, you know, if you get a chance to check out Broad Arrow this year at Amelia Island, I'll probably be there too. We'll see you guys in the future, okay? Take care.